I think the great thing about fashion is that it's changing all the time, and the people in the industry are just kind of crazy enough to kind of go along with the ride because they love it so much.
Almost immediately after his eponymous label exploded onto the American fashion scene in 2005, Alexander Wang became the proxy uniform maker for a youthful hipster tribe of New York City females. A tribe he bequeathed the acronym of the M.O.D, or model off duty, and a bevy of it girls like Erin Wesson signed on to become his loyal muses.
Hey guys, I'm Erin Wesson and we are Backstage and it's all happening. I've always sort of toured around with jewelry. It's always sort of been my passion and my hobby. Last season I did the jewelry, but it was all sort of just vintage pieces that I had found traveling and whatnot. I'm just keeping it on my head for now. One of the girls is going to be wearing the crown of thorns. I came up with this idea of these body chains that are meant to be worn underneath all the clothing, because a lot of the tops are really, really sheer, sort of transparent jersey, and I thought that it would be really interesting to have jewelry on, but it wouldn't be very obvious, and you didn't really quite know what was going on. It's not an easy job, and I think it's really hard for all of us to feel a tight sense of relationship with each other because we're all so busy. Other models sort of know what we go through. They understand the trials and tribulations, the exhaustion from traveling, the highs and the lows, and dealing with different personalities. It can be intense. I was lucky enough to meet Alex. I actually moved into his apartment building about 2.5 years ago, and we sort of really appreciated each other's aesthetic, and he asked if I would style his spring show, and I was totally floored because it was nothing that I had ever thought about embarking upon. I had my plate full with modeling, but I said, my God, what an incredible opportunity. So we worked together last season, and I was lucky enough to get asked back again this season. We still sort of freak out about how it happened. It was sort of a match made in heaven. I was thinking, what was I thinking? I was thinking here.
I was thinking that too.
Or her, there. What do you think? Should we start here?
Let's start here.
Can you pull that for me?
Yeah.
Dumpy gray pants and a dumpy gray t-shirt, and then this really amazing sort of nubby wool sweater on top. Yeah, you can just come over here. You guys, she's gonna get a little naked here, so.
Gotcha.
We share the same ideas. It's just everything becomes really easy.
Once the ball gets rolling,
yeah.
It's just it's boom, boom, boom.
I like the black boots.
I kind of almost want to see a white long sleeve tank.
For real?
Yes.
Wang's tribe were everything the other established designers' patrons were not. They were hip, savvy, and young, really young, like no one over 30. Which was a seismic age shift from the society matrons and Hollywood stalwarts, like Lauren Hutton and Tom Ford's go-to Julianne Moore, who were the usual designer front row suspects. This same age demographic who populated the front rows at Tom Ford, Ralph Lauren, and Marc Jacobs. These ladies were antiques compared to Wang's posse, who came with Nirvana's teen spirit. With Wang, there was no particular look, but rather a youthful and hip attitude and a sense of effortless, easy cool that had that quintessential Wang from the West Coast. Wang was a Californian transplant by way of Taiwan. Wang grew up steeped in genuine beach culture. Rather than as some elitist purveyor of status and fantasy, he aimed for something that's even harder to deliver. Clothes that girls want to wear. This uniquely fresh purpose was what no doubt attracted the powers behind the House of Balenciaga, where he was appointed creative director from 2012 to 2015. Alexander Wang was a breath of fresh air to the fashion scene, and he has since established himself as one of the most adventurous designers in the industry. He brings his iconic style and finesse to his sportswear collections and is now considered a revolutionary of sportswear fashion. It is a name for the everyday. Anyone can get dressed up and glamorous, but it's about how people dress in their days off that are the most intriguing. He influences people with his charismatic way of elevating normality to bring style to the lounge room and nightlife alike. His career may be short, but the impact he's had on modern fashion cannot be questioned. Alexander Wang is the name for the future, and by following his simple mantra of live life without regret, he is clearly not holding anything back. Alexander Wang was born the day after Christmas Day in 1983. Surrounded by colour, frivolity, and excitement, it was a sign of what he would bring to the fashion world. At the young age of 15, Alexander Wang attended a summer design program at Central St. Martin's, and from there he was hooked to fashion like a coat to a hanger, and soon after hosted his very first fashion show at his brother's wedding, showcasing 35 different outfits he designed for the bride. From there, he became a proficient and iconic American fashion designer, at the forefront of the current creative climate, his young age never restricting his obsession to make the world of fashion his own. At the age of 18, Wang moved to New York City to attend the prestigious and highly rated Parsons School of Design. And after only 2 years, he decided to make it on his own and launched his own fashion label with a knitwear collection that soon blossomed into the complete ready-to-wear collection on the New York catwalk that brought Wang's talents to the forefront of the fashion industry.
Let's rewind back. You went to Parsons.
I did.
What was your Parsons experience like?
Short. I left after my sophomore year. I took a leave of absence. Like right when I moved to New York, like during the summer, I like took on an internship and I took on a part-time job. And right when school started, like it was kind of like I was like in full-on, work mode. And school for me just was going a lot slower than what I was learning from my internships and my job.
Right.
Like, okay, I need to get to work.
Yeah,
So, I was like, let's get this going, I want to learn about like merchandising plans. I want to know like how sell-throughs work, like how am I going to develop a collection, get it made. I started my brand in 2005. I was in school at the time. Registered, I should say. It was I just finished my sophomore year of college at Parsons. And I was at this moment when I felt that I was ready for a new challenge in a way. And I just really wanted to kind of get out there and kind of get my hands dirty, I guess, to put it in the simplest term. The idea for me in the beginning was always two things. It was always to tell a story and to build a connection with a customer and an audience. I think if you don't have those two things, for me, in my opinion, it's not worth it.
From stunning the masses, Wang went on to be awarded the Council of Fashion Designers of America and Vogue Fashion Fund in 2008 that includes a generous $20,000 reward to go towards the expansion of his business. His name was gaining traction and he wasn't letting go. He began to make a name for himself in urban design, reflecting on individuality, obsessed with defying stagnation. After designing a fall 2008 collection using black as the predominant color, he then followed it with his spring 2009 collection using brighter colors like orange, dusty purple, aqua, and hot pink, as to really showcase the wonders of the natural world. As of late, Wang has reverted back to his black fabric roots of design, but the constant want to change and his outstanding tailoring skills is what makes the Wang brand an iconic staple of modern fashion.
I don't think there is any occasion that all black is inappropriate for. Like, if there is, I don't go to it. Today we're talking to Alexander Wang about styling all black outfits. We'll be talking about the textures, proportions, and accessories that keep all black fits interesting. Black has been a cornerstone of Alexander Wang's brand and personal style.
In my personal style, I'd say that it's easy, it's versatile. Whether I'm going to work or I'm going to gym or I'm going out right after work or I'm going to another kind of meeting, I think a black t-shirt and a black pair of jeans kind of really, essentially, you can kind of win in any situation with that, in most situations. I think in work as well, it just creates this attitude, immediate attitude, when I look at something in black. And I think it's also kind of like a blank slate. When I do use color or print, things like that, there has to be a really strong purpose and reason and story why I'm using fuchsia or turquoise. We're not a colorful brand. With black, it's kind of like the canvas. It's just, it's kind of what really wraps up the entire kind of emotionality around what our brand stands for. I think the best way to wear all black is to really mix up your textures and your proportions. I mean, I'm wearing black jersey and black denim and charcoal socks right now. Today I did decide to wear leopard pony hair shoes. Usually I'm wearing kind of like black sneakers or things like that. It's not that I always feel like there has to be an injection of something, of a print or something humorous or unexpected in that kind of outside of black, but I do think it really is about how you wear it. I think a good pair of black jeans, are really important and kind of a great kind of universal piece to have. I mean, obviously it applies differently for each person. I think it's really about knowing your body type and kind of how to wear certain kinds of archetypes or materials that kind of exemplify your attitude and your sensibility. I tend to wear things a little bit looser, a little bit more oversized, because I do like things that feel a little bit more offbeat, a little bit more casual in every situation. So even my blazers are a bit more unstructured. My pants are a little bit looser, the crotch is a little bit more dropped. I think it really depends who the person is. Sometimes black can feel very strict, very buttoned up, whether you're wearing a tight black turtleneck and kind of leggings and things like that, which is also something that we've done in the brand, but kind of how you layer it up and, throwing kind of a big sweater or a big kind of, cardigan or a jacket over it really kind of changes that attitude immediately. I never like to dictate because I just don't think there's any rules anymore. There really aren't. I might say that right now and somebody might come in and a skin-tight black outfit and I'd be like, oh, she looks great. I'm really into gold. I was a silver person, now I'm very into gold as I get older, so maybe that's an evolution of myself. Honestly, there's never been an occasion where I felt like, oh my gosh, is all black too much? I didn't follow the instructions today, by the way. They told me specifically not to wear black, and of course, just by default, I threw on black and came here and someone on my team reminded me that I didn't listen.
In 2009, Women's Tea by Alexander Wang was launched and brought elegance and youthfulness to staples of urban designs. It was awarded the winner of the CFDA Swarovski Women's Wear Designer of the Year Award.
Spring '09 was really about doing something that was much more sexy, a little bit more body conscious, kind of combining those elements with something that was athletic and involved injecting sport culture into the collection and kind of just taking the idea of what we do and our basics and evolving that into the next level. So why don't we go take a sneak peek at a couple of the looks. Hey guys, so we have Natalia here with us and she's wearing the first look. This has kind of become kind of what I feel like is the modern day uniform, which is wearing something really oversized and tailored, slightly masculine with something really easy and effortless, like a classic pocket tank with our easy sweat shorts and you're out the house with a pair of heels. With the T-line, it was really about creating a uniform. All I wear are t-shirts every day and I love the idea of kind of expanding the collection and just creating every silhouette possible that you would want to wear and just having something really slinky and drapey and almost wilty that you would wear to bed and kind of walk out the next day.
Showing that his own peers recognized his immense talents of fashion design and was also awarded the Swiss Textiles Award that acts as a spotlight for younger designers. A year later, he would launch the men's tea range and his very first handbag collection. This resulted in him being awarded another Swarovski Designer of the Year award in the accessory category, proving that he could adapt his style. In 2011, Wang was awarded the Best Menswear Designer of the Year by GQ US and won the CFDA's Best Accessory Designer Award, again proving that his talents were not restricted to menswear, and shows that the need to adapt is crucial to a designer's influence on the world fashion. In 2013, Fashion Group International honored Wang with the Fashion Star. He was stitching his legacy into world fashion. The opening of Alexander Wang's first store in SoHo, Manhattan, on February 17, 2011, was seen to be a catalyst for a rejuvenation of Lower Manhattan's fashion.
Hey guys, this is Alex. Welcome to our new store, 103 Grand Street. Today we're going to take you on a little tour. We really wanted a moment, kind of when you first walked into the store. The first installation that we worked on was with Jeff Leatham, the florist. Basically kind of created this kind of little mythical forest kind of made out of baby's breath. And it just kind of became something quite abstract and impressive when kind of done in repetition. So one of the first pieces that we've decided to highlight in the cage are our pieces we worked on with Bethany Vernon for the show, and we're calling them second skins. They all come in different sizes, so let's see if this one fits my hand. Tight fit, but it does. This year we kind of just highlight a couple of the newest shipments of whatever we kind of get into the store. So one of the first pieces is kind of like our meal bag that we just launched for spring, and I'm quite excited about because it's one of my favorite styles. This hammock, actually, we worked with Kramer Design Group. You know, in our showroom we have these goat-covered fur chairs, and we said, okay, we want something quite, you know, animalistic, but you know, still functional. So they brought up the idea of the fur hammock. I loved it when I first saw it on the mood board. I was like, okay, we have to have it. And it's kind of become like the main feature of the store now. Everyone always talks about the fur hammock and they want to come in and try it. But you know, that's what it's here for. So, you know, I welcome anyone to take a plunge. Well, this is kind of like our, I guess you could say, our black wrap. In a certain sense, it was to really highlight the special leather. We did a special leather collection for the store opening. It was 5 styles. It was really kind of like a vest, a pea coat, a crop jacket, a dress, a top, a pair of shorts. I mean, I love this piece. It's just kind of like this oversized black pea coat. Quite slouchy and easy.
This is for men?
No, this is for women's.
Would you wear it?
I'd wear the men's version. For spring was one of the first time we really started offering more of a range in our footwear, and you know, we have all of our runway styles. These were kind of like inspired by Japanese fishermen's sandals, like kind of like the ropes that they used to tie around their feet, and this was one of the styles featured on the runway. We also have this style, which is also from the runway, which is more like a woven buckle sandal. I try to use color in a way that feels very intentional to kind of whatever we're feeling. This season was definitely, for spring, much more about something that felt quite honest and quite more optimistic, in a certain sense that we started with an all-white palette, and then we really went in with things that felt quite, okay, well, we wanted this seafoam minty green, and then this idea of terracotta orange to counteract that, you know, things that felt quite organic, you know, such as kind of like the hemp and the muslin colors and the kind of the stone colors as well. One of the benefits of having your own store is that, you know, you're really kind of able to find out right away what's doing well, what's not doing well, what customers are reacting to, and, you know, we actually are starting, coming soon, I should say, special kind of like desk accessories and little kind of like home lifestyle pieces that I'm working on for the store as well, like, you know, our own custom like moleskin notebooks and, you know, little table lighters and things like that, so that's exciting. I won't say every day, but I do come in quite often, probably like every couple of days. I love coming in here, you're never knowing who's going to kind of walk through the doors and want to, you know, discover our brands.
Now, 700 stores worldwide stock his lines. Luxury stores like Bloomingdale's, Barney's New York, Neiman Marcus, Bergdorf Goodman, Dover Street Market, Browns, Net-a-Porter, along with the wholesaling of his collections, Alexander Wang has also opened 16 of his own signature boutiques across 7 countries, including France, Japan, and Denmark. Alexander Wang was growing, not just in name but also in design, spreading his wings to jewelry where he collaborated with designer Bethany Vernon. They designed second skin cuffs that would bolster Wang's autumn-winter collection, with perforated details that would hint at what Alexander Wang had in store for sportswear. His Resort 2012 women's ready-to-wear collection was inspired by the competitors of the London Olympics, especially the competitive swimmers, cyclists, and girls prepping for marathons. The collection featured perforated track vests, patchwork windbreakers, and utility track pants accessorized with heeled sneaker sandals. All translated for his urban loyalists with extreme skill and intrinsic Wang style. It was a largely confident and focused collection from the young designer, which brought with it acclaim from Vogue.com, stating that although Alexander Wang isn't designing uniforms for the 2012 Olympics, his phone will likely ring off the hook next time around, now that this collection's out. A fashion designer relies on the constant chase for intrigue, and Wang embodies this brilliantly as he reminisces on sports. I never really did sports growing up. Maybe that's why they intrigue me. The technology that goes into that clothing is steps ahead, so it's always been something I look towards. His interest in sportswear and his keen eye for design screamed out for someone to take notice. But it was not until 2018 when Adidas collaborated with Alexander Wang to design the latest collection of athletic apparel, which launched in 2019. From a young fashion designer, Wang became the creative director at Balenciaga from 2012 to 2015 after Nicolas Ghesquière departed. Alexander Wang was evolving from a talented young designer to a world-class star of the fashion world. His first collection was faced with a cold response, as European designers were concerned whether the prestigious brand could uphold its reputation with Wang at the helm of creative control. The collection featured jackets and coats with strong curving shoulder lines, narrow pants that were reminiscent of Ghesquière's style, with hourglass coats and column dresses. As much as his career as the Balenciaga creative director was short, his return to New York proved he still had a burning ambition to show more of what he could do under his own name. He focused on the women's and men's ready-to-wear and accessories lines, building on his already established expertise of design. In February 2013, Wang's debut full-winter Balenciaga collection took place at the historic Balenciaga salons, and a year later he released a collection for the Swedish-based fashion retailer H&M.
The idea of activewear and performance wear has always been something that's very close to me and kind of my inspiration process, and I knew that I wanted this collection to be something that would really be exciting for everyone.
Available at a selected 250 stores worldwide and online, with the pieces being for both men and women. This collaboration showed that Wang was a designer for the people, the everyday person, and the urban dweller. He was not creating for name's sake, but to bring elegance to the masses. Again awarded for his influence on fashion, he was included as one of the Hypebeast's HB 100, which honors the top 100 influencers of the fashion industry, as well as being included in Time 100, a list of the most respectable influencers that dominate society and culture. It was clear that Wang was taking hold of the fashion world. He was appointed the CEO of the Wang brand, succeeding his mother, Ying Wang, and sister-in-law, Amy Wang. Rumors of his poor working conditions in his workrooms began to appear, and regardless whether true or not, his name was still being tainted. Through Wang's career, approximately 30 workers have come forward to criticize the conditions of their working environment. Along with these complaints, Alexander Wang was charged with an approximate $50 million lawsuit for operating a sweatshop in Chinatown, Manhattan. Wen Yalu, one of these workers, came forward and announced that he had to be hospitalized because he was forced to work more than 24 hours continuously, with other workers complaining about working for over 15 hours a day in an area with no air ventilation. His identity and company were on the defense, but in 2012 the allegations were deemed to be false. The Wang name was again under attack in 2015 from over 45 defendants operating 459 websites that sold counterfeit goods bearing his name. A name that has cemented itself in the world of fashion, a name that thrives for individuality and adaptability, that influences the young designers of the world of fashion to pursue a life of change. He was awarded $90 million in damages, and his name was flourishing again in the fields of fashion once more. Wang has continued to prosper with his 2020 spring collection alluring us with nostalgia for the fashion pioneers of the past, like Calvin Klein, Ralph Lauren, and Donna Karan. It is a fashion show that pays homage to the American fashion industry and the strong, confident, and sexy women that it represented. The bold shoulders and bodysuits were reminiscent of the empowering style of Karen. The sexy aesthetic of 90s denim and logo tees embodied the influence of Calvin Klein, and the wild combination of flannel, corduroy, and suede brought the irresistible charm of Ralph Lauren to the Wang catwalk. Wang reflected on the past to convey the beauty of the future by deliberately casting multicultural models to emphasize the power of women and the power of difference, as well as fixating on the color white as to symbolize the suffragettes and to convey a sense of hope during a time of restlessness and despair. At the still young age of 35, Wang embraced his playful side and, using his social influence, collaborated with Trojan condoms with his capsule collection, Protect Your Wang, as a way to both celebrate the LGBTQ community and with proceeds going towards the New York City LGBT Center, to spread awareness for sexual health. The collection featured t-shirts, socks, hats, bandanas, and of course condoms, to educate the masses on the importance of inclusivity. Wang remains a revolutionary in pushing for positive social change and urges other influential designers to follow suit. Alexander Wang possesses a burning passion to bring style and luxury to the world of sportswear, and has forged the Wang name as a staple of modern fashion, embracing the everyday rather than dismissing it. There's this idea of elevating the everyday that I've always been attracted to. When people think of a sweatshirt, they probably think they're sitting at home watching TV on their couch, and they're throwing on their comfiest sweatpants and sweatshirt. But then that idea that you can take that item and that reference and apply to something abstract but still have that connotation, I think is interesting. The Wang brand is soaked with relatability and is the driving force to ensure the brand represents its values of solidarity and sensibility. Alexander Wang is a name of the future and has stamped his name onto not only the American but also the world stage. Not only did he revolutionize sportswear, but also champion the idea of young designers who were deprived of opportunities and coverage. Wang proved that the future of fashion is in the hands of the next generation of designers, capable of becoming the prodigies of the next era, the next iteration of the Calvin Kleins and Ralph Laurens. As much as Alexander Wang has influenced the world of fashion in his short career thus far, he is only growing in confidence. Currently, the Wang brand produces approximately $150 million in revenue, with around 300 employees around the world, and is steadily becoming one of the largest names in fashion. And it seems like this is only the beginning of Wang Nation.